What's up, guys? Smack the Flame here, going through the typical Path 9. There's also War 10. I fell a little bit behind in the War videos because I got pretty sick, which is pretty annoying, but I'm just going to knock all these out in the next few days since War season just ended. Or I think as of recording this, it's about to end. And hopefully I remember everything that goes on during these wars that happened like 5 or 6 days ago. But here we have a POV. We're going to take him with Anti-Venom. Got the Hazard Shift, Ruptured Bleed, and Power Efficiency there. So even though Anti-Venom isn't immune to Bleed or Rupture, I'm not really concerned because he just counters POV so well. And having the new war changes to where you automatically heal after every fight means that you can sometimes take some of these matchups where they're immune to none of the debuffs. And if they're just like a really solid counter to the champ that's on that node, you can just kind of take it with that champ. It takes a little bit of luck, but again, here I really wasn't worried about it. It also helps that Anti-Venom's heavies are only 2 hits, whereas someone like, I don't know, Hyperion has 5 hits on the heavy, so they're more likely to get the bleed and rupture on them if theoretically you were to use Hyperion. That's just first person that came to mind. But here we're just kind of building up slowly, builds to the SP1, now we're going to build to SP2. We're just having to gain the most power per hit. Going to block the special here for some more power, and then going to throw the SP2, and the match is going to be over. Almost. And the match is over there. Pretty easy fight there with Anti-Venom. The reason he works so well for POV is because he lowers all Spider-Verse evade ability accuracy by 100%. So he can't evade at all, no evade shenanigans. And that's like the main, it's not the main thing, but it's probably the thing that is the most annoying about POV is when you get more buffs on you, including his own spider seals, the evade can just go kind of crazy. But here we have Shock and Poison, Hazard Shift, along with Power Focus 1. So Gore here will get a lot of power as long as he's under 1 bar of power, and then gain very little power. I think he should probably go on the next node if you're going to place him on this path, because his SP2 is way more annoying to deal with, in my opinion. So I was very okay with this placement, with this fight. I really wasn't worried. Again, I'm getting a bunch of shocks on me, and I'm pretty sure the interaction here is that they have increased potencies from Gore's his vicious buffs. But again, not worried. Built up to SP1, SP2, classic rotation for Anti-Venom, and he's down. Pretty simple fight. And on to the next one. I think let's just do one big recording. Guess why not? Alright, next fight here we have an arcade, and this is Poison, Cold Snap, Hazard Shift, and Power Focus 2, which means that when you are pushing him, or when you're hitting him, he's going to get to 2 bars of power very quickly, and then kind of top out there, and after that it'll be very hard to, or not very hard, but he'll gain way less power being hit. Obviously using Anti-Venom here because he's immune to poison, so it's a good matchup. When I say good matchup, it just means he works, and for war, sometimes that's the best you can do, as long as he works. This isn't obviously an ideal matchup. If I had this space on my team, I probably would have brought Vox for this. Vox would absolutely crush this because of the poison immunity and the auto block counter. So yeah, obviously here I'm getting a little wrecked. I have to make sure to get those heavies in so that the auto block charges go down for Arcade. If he has 3 or more, he's gonna auto block, like right there. I was just playing risky. I was just playing kind of dumb, and now he's gonna we got pushed to SP3. And this is really not where you want to be. Okay, good. I played a little more careful there. You just got to be careful when hitting into him, when he can put debuffs on you. But here, he has 0 charges. I think I'm going to try to keep him above an SP2 so I can hit into him as much as possible. And he's going to throw it anyways. I remembered this fight really not going well. Like, barely surviving it. I feel like maybe I eat like another SP1 or something, or I got comboed. But here we have a lot of debuffs on him. Okay, yeah, there's the SP1, and now he's gonna get the auto block charges. So at least we have the Furies. But dude, the auto block is going crazy in this fight. Arcade can be so annoying, man. He can be so annoying. Ooh, yeah, okay. I got a SP1 to the face, and I got comboed. Here, do I go for the heavy? Yeah, that finishes it with the Furies, but really very close fight. Again, Anti-Venom is not ideal for that. Someone like Fox is perfect. Next fight, we have a Spider-Punk. This is going to be Hazard Shift, Bleed and Incinerate, and a One-Eyed Open. So don't hit into him when he's stunned, or you'll take back all the damage that you deal. Here, the main reason, there's a lot of good reasons to use Anti-Venom here. Obviously, he's immune to the Incinerate, so that's super helpful. But same reason that I used him against Pav is being applied here. Spider-Punk can't evade because he's Spider-Verse champion, and Anti-Venom completely shuts that off. The only reason, I'm gonna take a lot of damage here from the bleeds. It's just because I'm pretty confident in this matchup, so I'm being a little careless whether or not the bleed is activated or the Incinerate is, but I'm not really too worried about it. The only way that a Spider-Verse champion can actually evade is if they're getting increased ability accuracy from nodes. So that's a thing. When does that ever happen? Not a whole lot. The only one I could really think of is on Aspect of Evolution, if they were to put a Spider-Verse champion there. But I don't think I've ever seen that. That's like the Serpent loves that node. In this war, it's a Nico, who also makes sense because she just gets a ton of power. But in this fight here, typical Anti-Venom stuff. Got all my debuffs on him, pushed myself to SP2, fired it off, then put the Striker, SP1, just super dead. Really, I was not worried about that fight at all. I was really only worried about the mini bosses in this war. And then for this Heimdall, I could have done the Anti-Venom thing again, but I decided just to use Shathra. It's Rich Get Richer, Steady Perseverance, Footloose, so just tons of buffs and tons of power if those buffs are able to stay on the opponent in whatever way. In the past, obviously, I used Anti-Venom for this, but I kind of wanted to switch it up and use Shathra, and I was going to use Shathra anyways for the Serpent coming up, so I was like, let's just get a little Shathra gameplay in, get the muscle memory going with Shathra a bit. Here, so I knew SP2 was bad, but I've done this matchup before and learned that he loses his unblockable debuff or unblockable buff when he fires the SP2 if you have the atrophy up. So Shathra is fantastic for pretty much all Cosmic Champions because of that atrophy. Here, took an SP3. I do not remember that, I'm not gonna lie, but it's all good. It's just one SP3. This is a rank 4 Shathra, and just easily crushes that fight in 45 seconds. I think there's usually a Cosmic Champion on this node because of Rich Get Richer, and typically Shathra can take it, and she usually takes them down in 45 seconds to a minute every single time. So that was another pretty easy fight. The path fights this time around I felt pretty confident in all of them except for that arcade, and luckily got that down. And here we have the good old Anti-Venom versus Nico fight, except not on the boss node. This is on arguably, in my opinion, a harder node with Aspect of Evolution, Enhanced Special 2, the Inexorable thing there, and so this node is really tough in general. In my opinion, I think it just depends who's on it. It's one of the tougher nodes in the whole war map. But I can say without a doubt, I'd much rather fight Nico on the war boss node than on this one. She is pretty good for this, just because she gets power whenever the opponent triggers a buff while the buff immunity is placed on them, which kind of happens all the time. The only way to turn that off is if you have a buff immune character against her, and even then Nico is tanky, and this fight is going to last a long time. There's also a rank 5 Nico, so she's gonna throw lots of specials, and the more specials, not necessarily that she throws, but the more bars of power she gains, she does more damage. She's tankier. She's doesn't get crit as often. It can get really rough, and then this can also happen because the Inexorable here, where you just kind of I was trying to throw my special, and it just the game was like, nope, not gonna let you. I haven't had that happen to me in a very long time. That was pretty frustrating. But the Inexorable, because of this node where you block and they become inexorable, it just means you can get pretty stuck in the corner, and it can be pretty frustrating. Ate a special one there, not sure what I was doing. Right now, I'm really just kind of stressing. I'm getting backed into the corner a lot. I haven't been able to get Furies and launch any SP2s yet. I did want to go for the SP3 because I knew this was a big health pool, 800,000, and that I wanted to get it down in a pretty big burst. So I wanted to do the SP3 rotation to get 8 Furies. But you're going to see here, there's actually interaction. I'm not going to blame the game or anything like that. I just think I don't understand maybe how this works. Okay, so after further review, I do understand how it works now. I threw that SP2 and I thought I was going to get 8 Furies, or I think at least 7, and I only got 4. And then I'm trying to do like some big burst here, and I'm like, where's the damage? And then I get clipped there from the unblockable SP2 at like max range and die. So what happened there was the SP3 timer, and there was just a lot going on in that fight, and I was stressing, the hands were sweating. The SP3 timer ran out basically a second or two before I threw the SP2, so the debuffs fell off, the extra debuffs, which means I only got 4 Furies instead of 7 or 8. And that was what that totally just threw me off. I was expecting to do so much more damage, and then I got clipped that SP2 there, and I died in Nico after talking so much trash about how easy Nico is with Anti-Venom. It was meant to be, right? It was meant to be. The last 2 wars, I took her as a war boss so easily and made so many mistakes in one of those boss fights, and it didn't even matter because Anti-Venom is Anti-Venom. But in this one, she totally owned me. I think she is a much better placement here for just like in general than for the war boss node. So it is just a harder fight, but still, it was just kind of frustrating, like that I got clipped by that, just the very tail end of her staff there. I still had Furies up, so maybe I could have soloed her with the rest of those Furies in the Fury duration, but who knows, right? I probably would have died anyways, because the longer a fight goes on this node, the more dangerous it gets. Here, I went just for normal SP1, SP2 rotation, and also just got completely wrecked, but there was only about half her health left, which is, that's an easy SP1, SP2 rotation for Anti-Venom, and that's what happened. So even getting hit a little bit there, tanky enough to get the job done. So that's the first recorded death for me for this war. Unfortunate one, but it is what it is. I just thought it was so funny that after all the smack talk I was giving on Nico for Anti-Venom, it just completely backfired. Here, I may have forgotten to go over the notes, but it's stun reflection, bane, and you can only turn off the stun reflection by putting a pair of debuffs on him, which I'm not even going to worry about that because it's Shathra. And it's also safeguard. So Shathra absolutely crushes this because she is obviously just a great serpent counter overall because of the atrophy, right? Really dying down the power gain duration. And then also just the damage over time completely passes through safeguard. Here I get a little bit wrecked because I didn't get the unblockable from his sphere. There, I got it, so it didn't matter. If you trigger the SP2 while you have the fear, it doesn't go unblockable, but if you trigger it and then the fear goes up, then it's still unblockable, if that makes sense. But here, it's just kind of your typical rotation with Shathra of firing off some SP1s to build up charges, and then firing up SP2s to get rid of all those bugs or wasps and do tons of damage over time. Or it's not damage over time, but just do a bunch of red number damage. Here, we're going to throw up another SP2. The atrophy also completely reduces down the immortality. Easy fight. Even got a little bit wrecked there by hitting into his block with SP2, and didn't even matter. So that's the war. Really still bummed about that Nico death, but it is what it is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.